Hi. Hello guys. What's up? Sound check. Me check. Hello, we have someone called Heel Catcher. Hi. What's up? We are waiting for a few more people to join in today's episode of Binge, Sip and More. Today we have a really exciting guest, so I'm very excited to chat. Samir has joined the chat. Hi, I'm so excited to do this with you. Let's just wait for a few more people before we start this fun conversation. We have someone called Anusha who's joined. Hello, hi, hello, hola, what's up? So, yeah, so excited. How has everybody been? How's the beautiful Friday evening treating everyone? I hope all good. I'm about to have a really nice chat, so I'm very excited. Okay, Orito has joined. Feel ashamed to be joining your own live. What do you feel, Orito? He's joined late today also. Hi, Orito. We're just waiting in for one or two more people. Samir is already in the chat, and then we shall begin this beautiful session. Hearts, whoever is sending hearts. I've just become so comfortable like now talking to the camera that I feel like I just don't need to do anything before I come for the live. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, we're gonna wait for 1 or 2 more minutes before I start this conversation. Not just spirituality has joined, start following us. We have he says he's always on the 7th. Yeah, right. Okay. Alrighty. So let us go. Let us go. Alrighty. Hi, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you also. So good to you. I don't know, after I think almost like a year?
December, on my way to Bombay.
December, that's true. We went in Goa. We met in Goa. So happy to see you. What's been up? I'm so happy people are joining in. Please welcome Sumir. First of all, I'm gonna clap because there's nobody to clap, so I'm gonna clap myself. What's it up? Tell me.
So much, as you know, pushing this whole social media thing and influencer thing. I was pretty new at the game. You were one of the initial members of the team that helped me to kind of get it off the ground with your great advice and a lot of criticism as well. Oh, yeah, of course. You call a spade, and that's what I love about you. And I think that went off pretty well. So made a lot of adjustments. Been doing a lot of content. As you know, I write so much, so there's different facets to what's going on. It's been very satisfying. So more and more to come. Getting more of a rhythm into place, and super exciting. So work.
I can't hear you. Suddenly your voice is gone. Sumir. Suddenly I could not hear you in the middle.
Let me kick off my headphones. Maybe the audio for the
Yeah,
is good.
it's good. Someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, great. Might be a little bit of an echo, but that's okay. And so it's been a lot of riding, 40,000 kilometers in the last year and a half.
Wow, that's
Learn
crazy.
something new every day. Yeah, learn something new every day. The road is very taxing, punishing. It teaches you a lot
Of
of
course.
lessons, a few crashes, a few phenomenal rides, rains, heat. It's fun. I love it.
Definitely. So before like all this context that you've given, let me just tell people who are not aware of so much context of, where is this coming from? People have joined just seeing my face or Binge Monk or your face. So guys, welcome to the fourth and a very exciting episode of Binge Drink Sip and More. We as Binge Monk, we're a content production and a content agency, and we try to push the envelope by trying to do something, like I think Aritra, there's echo on Sumi's, and yeah, we will figure that out, Aritra. Aritra is, by the way, the one who also runs the channel along with us, and he's the one who takes care of these technical difficulties. So he finds it like live पे comment कर देता हूँ so that they take care and they just don't keep blabbering. Yes. So you figure that out. So today we have with us Samir. We have to tell something about him. He's an entrepreneur. He has traveled across 40 countries, lived across 4 continents. ये सब आपने देखा ही है in the caption and in whatever creatives you have made. Other than that, I have to tell you that he's one of the most interesting persons I've come across, and I tell you that with, I tell you that with full confidence. I tell you that with great joy, and he's one of the most you can brew conversation with him at any hour, and you won't get bored. And he can draw a 15-year-old to a conversation, to a 60-year to a conversation. How does he do that? I have no idea. I still feel that
That's because I'm 60, Kaushani.
But then you can brew conversation with anyone. That is the thing. Like, I think my team just goes to sleep when I start talking. Like, they're like, they don't even listen to half things that they say. So what is this art of like conversation that you have, and what is this knowledge? Of course, age does play a very crucial part in like knowledge, but I have heard a lot of 60-year-old speaking, and I don't want them to speak, to be honest. So you have also grown so progressively. So I want to understand that this whole accumulation and this, culminative personality you have of like a Yoda plus like a cool Yoda, like what is the story behind that? And like, how does that take place?
So this has taken place over the years. I've always wanted to do stuff like this, but never really got around to it. And finally, with the prodding of a lot of people, including yourself and some amazing well-wishers. So here's the story. So when we go out to a bar and go and have a drink and stuff like that. And by the way, since we mentioned drink, I should say cheers.
Cheers.
Go to a bar and the conversation veers around to kind of my life experiences, and I find the younger kids hanging on to every word I'm saying. They just want to learn from what I've done, different contrarian views, and see what kind of happens. How do you handle this, sir? And I say, drop the sir. Listen, you know what? I answer by the name of Sumir or call me by. I think what's happened is over the years I've learned a lot of hard lessons, harsh lessons. And every one of them actually, and as they have a saying, right? That what doesn't kind of break you just makes you stronger.
100%, yeah.
And I think I've been extremely fortunate to be able to kind of spin that and weave that into a life story. And as you know, I write a lot about my life on my blogs. And when I share these, in fact, a lot of people kind of say that, hey, listen, you know what, this resonates with us. And I've always felt deep down that something that I'd like to kind of give back at some point in time. There's a lot of students, people highly educated, far more erudite than I am. But I think the lessons that life teaches you are far more important than what you'd learn in it. And I think that's what I've always managed to bring to the fore. And I've always managed to kind of convey, the meaning and the essence of the experiences that I've had. And that's really what the story is all about. It's all about sharing and giving back what I've learned, helping people navigate through the difficulties that they face in their own lives.
Sure.
I think the great thing about India is that you've got a kind of a social fabric and a support structure, but there are a lot of things that you can't talk to family and friends about.
Right. 100%. I completely agree with you.
And that is when I think talking to somebody like me kind of helps, and I kind of like doing that. It gives me a great high. It gives me very, very good sleep at night that I've been able to help somebody, and I try to keep doing that as on a daily basis.
Right.
This whole thing about promoting it and you helping me is basically trying to disseminate that to a wider audience. So really, that's what it's all about.
100%. So I also want to bring in here that you are somebody who has told that you have immense faith in God, okay? And where there is like a lot of talk about spirituality, there is a lot of talk about a lot of other things. So where is this particular dynamic in terms of like, and I know that you kind of encourage the youth like me and a lot of other people to kind of also get into a spiritual path, but there's a wrong notion with spirituality. because especially hence it is so much out there by so many other people that it's just like now like one of those fad ki, oh, spirituality has become that. So how do you break that and tell them that what really is, because that would be something I interesting to know.
So there's religion and there's spirituality, all right? Let's not confuse the two. Religion is a structure around how you kind of worship and how you believe in God and the teachings that come from a particular religion. If you really go and abstract it, whether it's the Quran or the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, the teachings are identical. So they just happen in different places, they happen at different points in time. If you take, let's say, even the Quran and the Bible, it's both in the desert, it's at a particular location. They've got so many common people. In one case, it's Jacob, in the other case, it's Yaqub.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
They're the same people they're talking about, right? So one
right.
is Jesus, the other one will say Isa Messiah. They call him a Messiah. They believe he's a Messiah. But then they
Right.
went to the crusade and started killing each other.
Yeah,
So
true.
that's religion. That's religion. Spirituality is your personal rapport and your personal belief and your personal communion or communication with God.
Right.
So it's a
Absolutely.
great way to introspect. I think the reason why it's kind of falls by the wayside at times is because of the way people preach. People are very preachy. Don't do this,
Yeah.
don't do that, don't do the other, and that doesn't resonate very well. People are
True.
looking for a way to relate. People are not looking for a way to step back. And I think what doesn't happen is that people don't teach you to relate. It's like
Absolutely.
so you say spiritualist, but I'll do my daily worship, I do my puja. But the puja is a sacrament. It's a way to communicate with an abstract. So that's why you have a deity, you pray to it, you talk to it. So there's a lot of things that kind of come out which are not properly explained. It's either half-baked knowledge, or then it's knowledge that's disseminated with the purpose or with the intention to control.
Definitely, and I also want to add something and ask something. Like I know a lot of like youth, my like that who have absolutely no insight to what probably these books are, yet they have a perception to it. कि नहीं, but ये तो ये है, ये तो वो है, and of course hate spreaders, and there are so many like like it is just it's uncommon how hate spreaders it is. And it is just that you need the right kind of people to tell you also, the sources also, the information also. Like when I talk to people, I also tell them that the fact that you get your daily news from somewhere also matters. Because
Right.
not every news you will read is going to be the right news. And there was this very beautiful thing that Faye once said that who is giving the news, who's paying for it? See that. Then you decide what you want to believe and what you don't want to believe in. So when everything is so cryptic in this beautiful internet loving world, how do you find the right sense of sources?
So I think, we've talked about this, and I know we did have a lengthy conversation about the information onslaught. So
Definitely.
you have information that's hitting you from every single direction. It is very difficult to sift through what you're getting. And as you very correctly said, how much of that is motivated? Is it my own interpretation of what I've read, or is it kosher? Is it something that I've been indoctrinated into? Let me be honest, I have been indoctrinated. But I think the fortune that I have is, I think I've been very fortunate in the sense that I've been able to step back from that indoctrination and say, this works and this doesn't work. Indoctrination is nothing but brainwashing.
Absolutely.
So you'll find somebody who's brainwashed into believing something and then later on in life realize that, what, this is not really it.
Right.
I think the great benefit I had is that, I had very spiritual parents, grandparents. And then I chose a path by sheer need and necessity to go and learn. I was in a very bad place in my life. I was destitute. There was a point I would have been on the street. Supported me big time, and I had absolutely no option but to turn to a higher power. So my calling to religion and spirituality was not selfless. It was very selfish. But over the years, I've realized that, you don't ask. You don't need to ask. A lot of us today talk about speak and the universe will respond to you. Ask the universe. I think that's an abstract way to look at it, because yes, there is a universe, but there's somebody who's created the universe. So why impersonalize something that can be very, very personal? So I
True.
think, yes, the information onslaught is very hard. It's very difficult to sift through, but it's actually can be very easy when you see behind the motivations of the people who are trying to tell you what to do and what.
Hmm. Definitely. I think it's a very interesting way, and especially the universe anecdote, I completely agree that, I know so many people who kind of feel like, oh, I'm wishing this to the universe, oh, I'm wishing that to the universe, and but why do you want to have such a long and unsolicited relationship with anything, whereas you can have something so deep and intertwined with something. So I completely agree to that. That is there.
I think the big, I
Some
think the big, I think the big problem. I'll just add one more thing. I think the big problem is people are very averse to submit to anything.
true, true. I
So
completely agree.
submitting to something is something people have great difficulty with. But I will tell you what this exactly what is the problem you're facing, and the doctor is able to come back to you with a solution because you've given him enough information about it, right? It's the same thing when you talk about spirituality or religion. You open your heart and you say, look, this is what I am and this is what I'm facing, and the answers do come to you.
Hmm.
And
But
people,
I think
I
with
think what I've really experienced is the right kind of people come your way when you're ready to listen.
true. Ready to listen with an open heart and an open ear, rather than some people just want to put the perception that they have built over so many years, or
Correct.
just out there, which is something
Right.
ridiculous. I feel that like you have to hear, and of course each is entitled to their own opinion, and I completely agree to that. But still, like, just cross check your opinion, maybe. So I would just have to say that. But to also, I want to understand that you have followed a path of being a vegetarian for such a long time, and I know why you've been on such adventures and everything. I want to just ask, does it add some sort of calmness in or like it's like, because I know that you are yourself very attached to cooking and health and
I love
everything, so fit at 60. It's like almost like everyone should look around and take inspiration vis-a-vis me. So, so actually, just so I want to ask and understand that, like, what that kind of like drives you to this particular path of like food also, and how does it affect your choices in terms of whatever is like inclining.
what is, I mean, I'll ask, so what is food? Food is fuel, right?
Right.
You provide the body with the right kind of fuel and it will function at optimal levels. So it's
Right.
incumbent on you to provide your body with the right kind of food. So when you balance your diet and when you eat the kind of food that's best suited for you, this whole vegetarian thing is very grossly misunderstood. All right. I'm vegetarian by choice. Of course, I was brought into a family that was vegetarian. So again, that's the indoctrination. At one point in time, I used to eat eggs. I cooked the best omelets. I would cook omelets for my family. And then at one point in time, I decided, no, I don't want to do that anymore, but it was a choice. Because I believed it was potential life and I didn't want to take away potential life. And yes, we can talk about, eggs that are not fertilized and so on and so forth. But again, food is a very, very personal thing. If we go down to the science of food as well, you will realize that there are some foods that are absolutely essential and some foods that are more for taste. And we believe in three types of food, right? Sattvic, tamasic, and rajasic. Rajasic is rich food. It's very creamy. It's very good, palatable. It's very tasty. There's a lot of masalas. There's a lot of butter, a lot of ghee, a lot of oil. Then there is tamasic food, which is very, very spicy. It's very sour. It kind of appeals to the baser instincts, things like onion, garlic, and so on and so forth, which we eat on a day-to-day basis also.
Right.
And then there is food which is sattvic. Sattvic food is the right kind of food, the right blend of spices. So you want taste, obviously. We have a tongue, we want to taste. So being vegetarian, like I said, it's a choice. It's also an option that you have. But I believe that it actually does tap into those reserves and resources in your body that are optimally suited to give you the best output.
Definitely.
Uh, Eating heavy foods, I'll say heavy slash non-vegetarian, you need to have a certain kind of lifestyle to be able to digest that kind of food, and we don't. If you look at our forefathers, they walk 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers to go to work, to go and buy stuff from the nearest store or from the sabzi mandi.
Today, what do? We jump into a car. So how much energy are we actually expending to go, kind of to work the food off that we're eating? We don't. So do we really need that kind of food?
True.
Yes, it calms the mind dramatically because your body now is not having this overhead of processing that food. So it automatically calms you. It makes you a little bit more, how should I say, shanti. You sleep more peacefully at night. You're not sleeping on a heavy stomach. Don't eat after sunset because your food is not being processed in the right way. So these are the simple things that you can follow that have very, very good impact on your day-to-day existence.
I think that's very good advice, and I think I have sleeping issues. I should definitely kind of get onto this ASAP. So, tell me about a little bit of drinks and what kind of alcohol do you prefer? What kind of drinks do you like in general, in terms of like, what's like, forget alcohol. Like, tell me the first thing that you kind of do to, reinvent, in the morning. Like, I make something which is ridiculous, and I call it my sunshine drink, and my maid knows this by now. Huh? My Didi knows this, and my Didi comes in the morning and she's like, Sunshine Logi. And people are so confused. They're like, what is she talking about? But it's basically water, it's your honey, it's cinnamon powder, and it's lemon. So it's hot water with these. So it just kind of in the morning puts like your body in the right place in terms of what it is. I call it my sunshine drink. It just illuminates my body, I feel. So tell me, is this one? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what my drinks are through the day.
Do that, yeah, please.
So morning is similar to what you do, except mine is coffee,
Okay.
a
Alright,
very
coffee.
strong coffee,
Hot
but it's
coffee.
infused with
Black coffee.
a very hot coffee. It's black. It's infused with cloves, with cinnamon, with cardamom, with a little bit of sugar. It wires me. It wakes me up instantaneously. So that's my morning drink. 11 o'clock is another coffee, which is my kind of get ready to work kind of stuff. I don't do caffeine after about maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon because then I have problems sleeping. Anyway, I sleep 4 hours a night, right?
Yeah.
And well, when I'm going out and I'm drinking, then it can be vodka, it can be beer, it can be gin, it can be rum. It depends on my mood, but mainly it's going to be whiskey.
Yeah, I know that.
That's what I have on right now.
That is amazing. And so now let's talk a little bit of
There's one drink that I have to talk about. It's not a drink, it's an elixir. It's an elixir.
Okay.
So an elixir is the drink of the gods.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know that.
So this is called green chartreuse.
Okay.
It's made by the French monks in the Alps, in the French Alps. It's made of 118 herbs. So technically it's not alcoholic. But it gives you a kick like you can't imagine, but it doesn't give you a hangover. And you have one sip and you can feel it down to your toes. It's sometimes very spicy and gaggingly sweet, so you offset it. You have one sip of that and you have one sip of espresso. You can drink that all night and it will teleport you into another dimension. Try it sometime. It's very difficult to get. So you get green chartreuse and you get yellow chartreuse. You should try both. I like the green.
Okay, yeah, you heard it here, okay? In case you get it and if something happens, you know who to ping and thank. So please do that next time you get it. You know where to get this information from.
You want to hear a really funny joke?
Go for it, of course.
My sister is 14 years younger than I am. All right,
Yeah.
she's no longer a baby, but she's my baby, right? I brought her up, I changed her diapers and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So once she had a really bad cold and green chartreuse, so I pressed her neck against the wall and I took a topi, a cap of green chartreuse and poured it out. And she like,
okay.
But it cured her.
Wow.
That's green chartreuse for you.
That is good. No, I definitely think I'm gonna give it this a go. I'm so sure. If I ever get able to get my hands on it, I'm gonna give this a go for sure. So definitely. But let's talk a little bit about what is the content you like watching? What have you been watching? Have you watched anything in recent times, or like have you? I know that you've been very busy, but what kind of content have you been able to catch up on? So like,
So I've been watching a lot of the period kind of serials. So like, have you watched Resurrection Ertugrul? It's a Turkish series.
no, I have not. What is it about?
He's the Brad Pitt of Turkish cinema. He's a brilliant actor. The plot is all about Turkey and the revolution. And what I really like about it is the way it depicts Islam. It depicts Islam in the light that it should be looked at. And it's a historic. So I look at all of that. So, for example, which is the other one about Genghis Khan?
Which one?
Who's the great traveler who went to China?
Which platform is this? You are watching some really nice stuff that I need to watch. I don't know what it is.
Netflix. Why is Monte Carlo coming to mind? It's not Monte Carlo.
What is kind of a romantic
He was a
film?
great. He was a great explorer. How can I forget his name? You will find it on Netflix.
Okay,
Brilliant.
okay.
So that is what I watched. Then which is the other one about Jon Snow, the guy about the.
What's wrong?
Yes.
What is about Jon Snow? I'm like, did I miss another spin-off of Game of Thrones? No. But if you kind of like enjoyed like Game of Thrones, Hotstar has come with House of Dragons. So that is something you can really like enjoy. It's a really nice. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's got some good stuff. So House of Dragons is something really nice. And other than that, I think you're more. Are you seeing someone who's more into like documentaries for some reason? I feel like you enjoy. Like, is it true? Is that true?
Either I watch stuff that is brain dead,
Yeah.
so I
Tell me
watch it and
some
fail.
stuff you watch. Like, have you watched some really bad like Bollywood comedies that you really enjoy?
Okay, so I won't name names. What the hell I'll name? Feroz Naviadwala. He and I were benchmates in school.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
So
interesting.
met him after many years. After I finished off all my stints overseas, I went to see him, caught up with him. The greatest, sweetest guy, sitting in his office at his house in Juhu. And now I don't know what kind of movies he makes, right? But he's such a good friend of mine. And I tell him, यार मैं ये सब बॉलीवुड के बेजा खाली मूवी नहीं देखता हूँ. And he tells me I only make बेजा खाली movies.
I love the films. I loved it. It's just I'm the audience for that film has been made. I am the audience who goes and pays money and buys popcorn and watches the movie.
So it's all of those like number ones and all of those, all the brain dead movies. I like those. Time pass, watch it, forget it, go to sleep.
It's fun. It's fun. Once in a while, it's fun.
But the one I really loved and I watched it umpteen times. There are 3 movies that I watched. One is Dangal.
Dangal. Yeah, I love Dangal.
I watched it multiple times and I cried every time.
Dangal is very good. I love Dangal.
Alright.
Yeah.
Then the one I watched Bahubali, binge watched Bahubali part 1 and 2 back to back 3 times.
Wow, that's crazy.
And what I really admire about it is that this guy, he threw everything he had based on his conviction that the movie is going to be a success. He bet
Definitely.
his bank, and it was so successful. And then the other one is Gangs of Wasseypur. These are the 3 ones that I watch again and again.
I love Gangs. Gangs is definitely one of my favorite films. All the 3 movies definitely are like phenomenal films made by phenomenal filmmakers. All of them, Nitesh, Anurag, Rajamouli sir, everyone's so freaking good. Like, it's crazy. So that is really nice, very cool. But like any newer film that you watched like lately?
I would have watched so many, but I would have forgotten by now.
I'm sure they're all very forgettable. What if somebody said Beard Rob, you were going to act about
He's this brilliant, crazy writer also. And we've been in touch, we've never been able to meet. So he says, you were watching, you acted Bahubali. Yes, God. So some people call me Katappa. Some people call me Katappa.
Katappa is riding in a motorcycle and coming this time. So it'll be like a fun to watch. But tell me, you literally told me that over these few months you have traveled so much. He said ditto.
Oh, you should see what he looks like. He's got this phenomenal beard which I can never grow because I have no hair. But he's got this amazing beard.
So shout out to you, Beard Rob, and we will definitely check him out.
He's a dude. You should talk to him.
Definitely, I will DM you after this. I promise. But I want to know that what is the craziest place that you have rode in, like, over these years, and your favorite, like it's like an adventure or an experience to remember sort.
So, I've done some pretty crazy shit, okay? Now, I started riding a motorcycle after some 25 years, after a gap of 25 years. So, the company that I work with, the CEO is a rider. And they do this, every year they do this ride. And after I joined, he says, sir, next year, आपको साथ में आना है? हाँ, करके 2 साल तो टाल दिए. So अब तो lockdown हो गया. So now the lockdown started. And we've got all the time on our hands, right? So he says, sir, we are riding. I said, I don't have a bike. He said, let's go buy you a bike. So we went and bought a bike. And I did a familiarization ride to his farm, which is 40 kilometers from here. The next ride we did is to Mangalore in the rains, which was pretty hairy after 25 years. The third ride, we ride from Mysore to the Pakistan border in Jodhpur. Yeah, so that's 40,000 kilometers in like a year and a half, 2 years. But the craziest ride, the most hairiest ride is I was riding to Bombay. So I'm from Bombay, but I live in Mysore, right? So when I go to Bombay, I go and watch my kids. I mean, I go and see my kids, my mom, but I ride to Bombay. And I had this really bad fall at about 12 o'clock at night. There was oil on the road. I could barely walk and I still had 200 kilometers to go to Bombay. So somehow I soaked it up. I went home and at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I can't walk. So I crawled to the edge of the room, opened the door and I yell out to my daughter, baby, come and so they take me to the hospital. I was black for 3 months.
Oh, crazy.
But what I love about riding is riding the twisties, what I call the twisties or the hills, the narrow hills, the narrow paths. Because I find that so akin to life. There's the ups, the downs, the sideways, the blind corners, the uphill, the downhill, the rain, the heat. That's so similar to what we undergo in life. And I relate so completely to that kind of riding. I don't like the flat. You can drip, you can speed, you can do 140, you can do 160, but yeah, it's extreme control, super focus. But I'm at my best when I'm out in nature and riding in the hills. That's my jam.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. So and before like we end up this thing, I have 3 questions which I want you to answer. My first question to you would be that what is that one advice you'd like to give to people who are really struggling to find themselves, who really want to be out there, know the right thing, do the right thing, but are struggling? So what would be the one piece of advice you'd like to give them?
That's tricky because it's very personal to a lot of people. But if I was to generalize,
Yeah.
I would say that please don't get colored by other people's judgment. Number 1. Number 2 is stay true to yourself.
Right.
Be socially conscious but don't conform.
Beautiful.
And give complete vent to your creative. We are all creative. We just don't know it.
Right.
For example, I just started writing for myself.
Right.
And I realized that I'm a good communicator.
Wow.
I just started writing for myself because I was going through stuff in life and I didn't have anybody to speak to. I've traveled, like I said, I've lived alone most of my life and I just had nobody to talk to. And they were so deep and they were so personal. I just maintain a journal. And then I said, chuck it, I'm going to write it. This deserves to be in the public domain. So let me put it out in the public domain. I'm sure somebody will benefit from it. And I know a lot of people have. So I would say that's really what is the most important thing. Be true to yourself. Be socially conscious, but don't be in your face. You can do pretty much what you want for yourself. You're not out to prove anything to anybody, right? Prove it to yourself first.
Right. That is very good. I was almost lost. I was almost like waiting that your memoir is going to come across. Second, I think would be for young people who are not young, generally people who want to ride or who want to kind of like start the journey or like in terms of like just go out there and travel and but are too scared because of their day-to-day routine. What is that to break that mold and be like, chalo yaar, come on, do it yaar. Like what is that ache so what was your call in your head when you decided that chalo, I want to do this, fuck everything. So what was that call like?
So it's a two-part thing. So I'll make a statement, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. Some
Yeah,
people may not have, don't give a damn. COVID was the biggest blessing on the face of the planet
definitely. I'm gonna
because it gave you the time to do what you wanted to do. You
yeah.
needed to continue working,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you could do pretty much what you wanted to do. So I think that is one. So that gave us an idea as to what work-life balance can possibly look like. So that was one. The other one, in terms of you just got to go out and do it because the time will never come. I remember my grandparents, they would say stuff like, after I finish working, after I retire, then I will do these things. Sometimes that time never comes. So you've got to hit it when the iron is hot. You've got to kind of strike it when you feel the call and when you feel the compulsion to do it, just go out and do it. Because if you wait around for something to happen or come your way, it's not going to come in.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So so the book I'm writing is a book. It's called The Matrix of Six.
Wow. You want to tell people a little bit about this? Because I kind of know about it. So I want, because it's a
Sure.
beautiful concept. It's a lovely concept, and I really want people to hear about it.
So people meet for a reason, a
Right.
season, or a lifetime. And
Right.
people meet on the basis at a particular time, under certain circumstances, and they meet either for a short time or for a lifetime. When you
Right.
meet a person, you don't know what it is. But it's a matrix of six. If you filter your life events through this matrix of six, you will understand exactly where you were, why you did what you did at that particular point in time, at that particular place. Now, if you're statistically inclined, I'll extend that just a little bit.
Please do. Please do.
Statistics, they have something known as binomials. They are binomial tree solutions. Binomial is nothing but it's a fork, it's a node. This is your life. So you come to a certain node, it's a fork in the road. So either you take a path that goes left or you take a path that goes right. When you're taking that turn, assume you had no Google. So you take the left, you don't know where it's going to lead you. You come to another fork in the road. And if you really go and look at your life, it's actually parallels and diagonals.
Right.
So the matrix of six and binomial trees will exactly give you a textbook approach as to how to resolve the problems that you actually face in your life. So that's a book that I'm writing. It's very involved and it's very difficult to explain the concepts.
Definitely.
And to be quite honest, I'm struggling with how to depict these different things. So I'm using my own life circumstances as the impetus to kind of explain those concepts.
Wow. I can only imagine
It's
reading it and getting
but
my hands on it.
I want it to be a bestseller. It's nothing to do with my personal recognition, but I want people to be able to read it and understand what I'm talking about.
No, I think the concept in itself is so noble that there's no way that, as a person, when I first heard it, I was like, why didn't I know about this earlier? Or why didn't I kind of understand this? This is not like one of those intellectual things you say and you forget. This is out there. This is theory. You can open your notebook and do this right now, imbibing any problem you're facing, and there will be a kind of solution that is going to take place, or there will be some sort of epiphany or revelation. So I strongly feel that this is an extremely beautiful logic and practice, and I cannot wait for people to read and hear more. And lastly, not taking
And
much.
you're one of the best wordsmiths I know, so I'll probably get you to proofread it for me.
Done. Oh, I am already very happy. I too will get. Oh, done. Okay, I got your approval of being a wordsmith. Now I'm done. My weekend is made. I can bye, say goodbye, and sleep the weekend. But before before like I close ask my last question and we close this beautiful chat, I want you to kind of for our viewers and for everybody who watches your content and our content and everything, because the word content is so consumed and out there, I just want to decide that what is your favorite content in terms of like what did you grew up on and what do you resonate the most to? And you told me your three go-to movies, but when I see the word content, what comes to your mind first?
Blackadder.
Oh, really?
It's not the snake, it's a series.
I'm sure.
Rowan Atkinson. This is before he was known for what he is. Blackadder.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
absolutely crazy. It's absolutely wild. And I grew up on things like Fireball, XL5. I grew up on music like Supertramp, the Beatles.
Yeah,
My
beautiful.
mamas were very into music. They were the hip mamas. And I grew up on content like this, to be honest. And then, of course, then you develop your own tastes. So I listen and watch anything from techno to EDM to trance to classical to spiritual, everything possible under the sun. It all depends on the time of the day of the week, or the mood of the hour, the hour that I'm in the particular mood.
That is,
Be open.
it's
Just be open. I mean, just absorb everything there is around you. So my youngest son and I relate on, EDM. My
oh,
elder,
wow.
my elder son and my daughter, they say, "What the hell are you listening to?" We are more into the rock and the jazz and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I have kids at three different ages: 31, 26, and 21.
Wow.
And I relate to each one of them in a different way, because it's a different bond. I love them all equally. And
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to indoctrinating my grandson now.
That is lovely. That would be one hell of an experience, I believe. I truly am sure it will have an experience. But I cannot wait for, to you to come back and tell us more next time we get you. And is there any last word for our viewers and your viewers?
Keep watching. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Appreciate, share. It's not easy being a digital creator and an influencer, trying to be an influencer. But the stuff that I have is different. It's not dancing and singing and running around and doing outlandish shit. My stuff is more
He
serious.
refused to do the reels that I wanted him to do. He refused. I would make him dance on Jugnu. He'd say no.
So I have, as you know, Kaushani, I have two hooks. I think the exciting part and the adventure is Sumir the Seeker. But that's actually a hook to get people onto things like not just spirituality. So I
Right.
am this cool dude who likes to do all kinds of crazy stuff, but deep down at heart, I'm a very spiritual, a very ethical, and a very conscious person. So I'm
Right.
trying to attract people using a hook, because you can't just go out and say, "Hey, listen, please listen to me." I try to make it exciting. It's
Right.
not easy. It's
Definitely.
not easy. Hard. Putting
Definitely.
something out consistently every single day. And I know you used to badger me. Reels dalo, stories dalo. But I just couldn't get around to doing it. Now I have a method, I have a process, and I make sure that I devote those 2 hours a day to make it happen.
And I really, really insist that, obviously, I insist all the people who are watching this now or who catch this later to definitely go follow Samir's channel. I'm going to tag his channel. Apart from that, I also want you to kind of Samir had a beautiful podcast on Spotify, something that I was really, really fond of. And and I really want to tag that in the link also. I'm going to post it in the comment. I'm going to pin it down. I want everybody to give it a hear because it's a beautiful podcast. You want to elaborate a little bit on what the podcast is so that our audience gets some context?
I know we are out of time, but I'm going to take 5 minutes for this one. So
Please.
this is the lockdown. This is the lockdown. People are very disgruntled, very disillusioned, very lost.
Yeah.
And my fallback to anything that I face in my life is the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. All right? Because I think it teaches you so much in your life. And I started doing this reading every evening at 7 o'clock in the evening. And somebody who was very close to me said, "Hey, listen, you know what? I also want to join. Can we do it virtually? Lockdown." So I just sent out a Hangouts link and quite a few people joined. So the way I do it is I started Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. I'd read the transliteration. I skip the Sanskrit because it gets involved for some people. And I'm not great at Sanskrit. I know it, but I'm not great at it. So I'd read the transliteration. I'd read the translation. Then I'd relate that particular verse to an anecdote or an event in my life as to what I learned out of it, what was my takeaway from it. And that went down extremely well, and I was encouraged. So this guy who kind of helped me initially, and you've met him on calls, I think, Madhav. I have to recognize him. I hope he's listening. Adarsh, Madhav, Shubha, Amrita. There's a lot of people who encourage me. Yourself,
Yeah.
Moon, Raj, Lakshmi, all of them. They
All of them,
encourage
yeah.
me, saying, "Listen, you're doing something. Why don't you just record it?" And I just started recording it. And the boys put it together and spun it into a podcast. The podcast is not exactly what I would have liked it to be, because I wanted to stay away from the preachy side and just say, this is how I relate to it. This is the benefit I got out of it. So can you also benefit from this by going and taking a look and keep an open mind? So, yeah, it used to be called Spirituality and Beyond, but I re-christened it, and you helped me, and we just spirituality, right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was reconnecting. Yeah. Sorry, bad network. Yeah. Yes, true. Hmm. Yeah, I can hear you. Beyond, we spoke to that last time was beyond. Yeah.
All my domains and all my accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is.
So
I'm so glad. I'm so
I
glad
think
that
you've
whatever like
contributed
little.
more to what I'm trying to do than I think you contributed more than you know, Kaushani, to be very honest with you.
I'm so glad to just hear this. I'm just so happy to be a part of this journey because it's a grand journey, it's a great journey, and I'm not just saying this because you're here. I know that people will find out the importance, the beauty of the journey, and that is something why I wanted you to come and talk about it.
I'm going to put you on the spot. And I want you, and it's not a quid pro quo. It's a very genuine thing. When you asked me whether I'm going to do this, I did it for Kaushani. But I want you to tell me what Binge Monk is all about, because I've not had a chance to look at what you're doing. So can you tell me what this is all about?
So, Binge Monk is a content production, it's a content digital agency. We create content all over in different languages. Currently, we are creating content in Bengali, English, and Hindi. We make sketches, we make memes, we do digital campaigns, we run all over the media, like 360-degree media solutions is what we provide. Our idea is to not only create content that is fun and people can watch, but it is to create content that affects everyone's life and we can help in a day-to-day basis and, generate more content in terms of, like reaching a wider audience, giving people the right quality and not just doing it for the sake of it. So it's making a change with content, and that's what Binge Monk is all about. We want people to binge our content while they sip on their monks and enjoy it and also create some sort of change while we are at it. I believe so. That's the point. I think you have gotten thoda stuck. Network. Those Zoom calls are like, these are Insta calls and all are like, can you hear me, Samir? I think, can you all hear me, guys? If anybody can hear me. Okay. I think there was some issue. Samir has left the chat. I'm gonna wait a minute for him to join. Some internet. Can you guys hear me? Just wave if someone can hear me. Or throw wave no if you can hear me. Wave. Or is it just bad network on everyone's end? Yes, somebody said they can hear me. Okay. Okay. Trying to go live. Yeah, can you hear me? Hello, I can't. Yeah, I can't see you. Yeah,
Oh, you
now I
can't.
can see you. Yeah, now. Yes. Yeah, I can see you now. It's just a big bad network. It's buffering. Wait, I'm gonna hold on for you to. It's buffering. It's some network issue, Samira. I think it's kind of a network issue. I just wanna know that it's a network issue. Can anybody hear us? Okay. I just feel that it's network issues. I'm gonna try one last time to get him. Yeah, finally. Can you hear
Sorry
me?
about that. Yes, I can. I had to switch networks. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I wanted you to say properly goodbye. Like, did you hear about what we do a little bit and you understood?
I
Like,
did know. I heard what you're doing, and I think you're going to do great, Kaushani. Keep it up.
thank you so much. And you were nobody stand in and let Orithro be like a judge for it. Orithro Subir thinks that he was a stand-in for somebody. Please tell him he was the only person we approached, and he said yes. I really want you to do that in the comment right now. Do it. Because Orithro asked me, who are you getting? He's on like Thursday frantic. And I was like, wait, I'm getting you the correct person. And you thought you were a stand-in. Aisa nahi hai, are you? Why would I do that to you?
What did I say? I said even if I'm a stand-in, I'm all for it. I wasn't complaining.
No, but you were not a stand-in. You'll never be, at least not on our channel. And thank you so much for doing this and
You
coming
take it.
today. And see you, and I shall call you after this right now. So,
Call me. We'll
see
chat.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Goodbye.